What's going on, guys? It's Tom here, and the pandemic has changed a lot of things for a lot of people. And probably the biggest thing that's changed for most people is work and how they make their money. In fact, we have a record number of people leaving their workplaces, straight up quitting their jobs, and not necessarily for any one particular reason. In fact, most people seem to be doing it just because they were happier working from home, happier doing more flexible options, such as what we're going to look at today. And today we're going to be talking about something that a lot of people are doing, Amazon Flex. Now, I've been doing Amazon Flex on and off for about the last 2 or 3 months. So I've got a fair bit of experience with it, and I've also just done it for a full week just to show you guys how much money I've earned. I'm going to take you on one of my shifts, or blocks as they call it, through Amazon Flex, and really just walking you guys through the entire process. If you are watching from Amazon, don't worry, I didn't show anyone's address. I wore my face mask the entire time, and I made sure to follow all the rules set out in the app, and I did everything by the book. Don't worry. And a disclaimer, this video is not sponsored by Amazon Flex. They haven't asked me to do this or anything like that. But first of all, what is Amazon Flex? Well, Amazon Flex is simply where you become a delivery driver for Amazon using your own car on your own time. And the way they do it is they offer you blocks, which is essentially a shift working for Amazon, and these can range anywhere from about an hour and a half to about 4 hours. Now, you do have to accept these, so it is kind of on your own schedule. However, from my experience, there seems to be about 2 or 3 times a day per depot that you can actually pick up and actually accept slots for them. Now, for example, I live near York. Now, there's no depots in York itself, however, there's one in Leeds, there's one in Doncaster, and there are several in Hull. And what happens is you choose your region and it gives you all the depots in that region. Now, from my experience, it's given me things like Sheffield, which is quite a while away and wouldn't really be worth me driving all the way to Sheffield. So you can actually filter which locations are closest to you, which I found is very convenient. Now, as mentioned earlier, you do have to use your own vehicle. Now, I drive a 3-door Vauxhall Corsa, so it's not exactly the biggest car. However, I've never failed to fit all the packages in there. Now, typically what will happen is you accept a block. It tells you exactly how much money you're going to make from that block. It tells you roughly how long it takes to complete that block. And then you go off to the depot. You have to arrive about 15 minutes early, load up your car, and then it'll give you your route. So that's one thing I will say about the app. You actually don't know where you're going to be going. It just tells you roughly how long it thinks you're going to take, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I see why they do it, because everyone would just accept the blocks which are most convenient to them, and the ones which are inconvenient would never get accepted in the first place. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I accepted a 4-hour block which paid around about £60, which took me all the way to Middlesbrough, which is about 98 miles away from the depot. Now, that was on a Sunday, and like I say, I've been doing this for quite a few months now, and that was the first time they've ever sent me anywhere more than about 50 miles away. But just bear in mind, you will be clocking up some miles on your car. Now, what I'm saying is, if you just bought a brand new Range Rover or a nice Tesla or something like that, this probably isn't something that you really want to be doing, because it's likely to devalue your car by putting on a ton of miles on there. So if you're in my situation and you kind of needing a new car, but you're just waiting for this one to kind of be running to the ground, this is perfect for you guys to do. And like I say, it's flexible, so you can do it in your own time. So let's say you work Monday to Friday, well, there's blocks available on the weekend, and you can make some extra money working on the weekend at your convenience. All right, kids, where can I put this that is a sensible location? So, about to set off, got about 35 minutes. I like to give myself about an hour to get there, because you can get there 15 minutes early, and typically they start to load up the cars, or you start to load up the cars, about 15 or maybe even 10 minutes before you're meant to be starting. But one thing you'll notice is if you're late, that's it. You can't get paid for that shift. You can't even load up the parcels into your car. So make sure you're on time. I'd rather be 10-15 minutes early than even 1 or 2 minutes late, because at the end of the day, it's all done through an app, and with the app, it's very black and white. So essentially, if you're late, that means you've forfeited your shift, and you can't deliver the parcels, and you can't get paid, and you've just made a bit of a pointless journey. But without further ado, let's set off, let's get the parcels loaded up, and I'll check in with you in a moment. Packages acquired. So, the packages have been acquired. I did arrange them very neatly, but then I went round a roundabout and they all just sort of slid into each other. So the way this works is, I'm not going to tell you, or I'm not going to show you like every single drop, because that would be about a 4-hour video. But what I am going to do is I'm going to walk you through like the very first one. I'm not going to show obviously the customer's address, but I will probably show you on the app right here, right now, what is the process on the app. So as you see, you have to scan the parcel, or parcels in this case. Then you have to go ahead and walk to the delivery spot. Tracks you on GPS so it knows exactly where you are. then you have to hand it over to the customer. You have to say, look, yeah, I handed it to the customer, or I left it in a safe place. If you leave it in a safe place, you have to take a picture, and then you swipe it, and then it's done. So all's well and good, and then you move on to the next. And we are done. So set off around about 1:30 from the depot, finished at 3:30, so that's 2 hours for the entire 3-hour slot, which is pretty good. Now, you do still get paid the same no matter how long it takes you. So it's my understanding that if you take 4 hours to do a 3-hour slot, you don't get paid anymore. In the meantime, let's get back to studio time and let's unravel this. And we're done. So as you saw, it said about 3 hours, however it only took me about 2 hours. Now I got really lucky with that shift, and that is not always the case at all. It's just lately I've just been getting these really sort of like convenient ones which are about, you know, 5 to 10 miles away from the depot itself, and also coming back on myself towards home. So yeah, really lucked out with that shift yesterday. And again, it only took me about 2 hours. You are only paid obviously for the block. If you go over, you don't get paid more. If you finish earlier, luckily you don't get paid less either. So let's have a look at how much I made this week. Now I did 5 in total, and to cut to the chase, I got paid £201. So you get paid weekly, you get paid on a Wednesday. So anything you do within that week, you get paid into your account on Wednesday morning. Now, one thing I will say is January has been very sparse with the offers. There's not been as many offers in January as there was in November and December, which kind of makes sense because again, people will be ordering for Christmas in November and December, and January, well, everybody is skint. So I'm interested to see what it's like in February. I'm definitely going to continue doing these because again, it's a decent source of income that I can do on top of my personal training. The link to my app is down in the description, by the way. Now, one thing you can do is you can almost game the app a little bit. So as you get closer to the start time for an offer, if nobody's accepted it, Amazon will actually increase the price. Sometimes up to about £20 or £30. Now you could see a 3-hour slot typically worth around about £40.50 starting price, but then if nobody accepts it, but as time goes on, you could see it increase to about £60 or even like £70, because essentially Amazon need these parcels delivering, and it will increase the price as time goes on and nobody's accepted it. However, lately that hasn't been a good strategy. Now, that was something I felt safe doing back in December when they had loads of deliveries and not enough drivers. However, now I feel like in January it's not as safe of a strategy because they don't have as many deliveries and almost too many drivers. So we'll have to see how it goes throughout the year, but I'm thinking that January is probably the lowest month for Amazon's revenue anyway. So as the year goes on and people have more money after recovering from Christmas, chances are you're probably going to see a lot more delivery slots available and therefore more money being offered per delivery box. So that's it, guys, a very basic look at Amazon Flex. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now it's a very different style of video that I normally do. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let me know that you enjoyed it in the comments, and that way I'll make more videos like this rather than my sort of fitness related ones. So in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.